Welcome back to Twin Football, the YouTube channel that covers the Premier League and the NFL. But we did give you a college football rivalry video last week in prep for the Ohio State Michigan game. So we are no longer going to talk about that. We even took down the Ohio State scarf. I got a lot to say about that. So stay tuned for a video on Ryan Day and Ohio State later. But today is match week 14. We already have two games in the books as Leicester and Ruud van Nistelrooy got their first win 3-1 against West Ham, and Crystal Palace push out of that relegation zone a little bit further, getting a much-needed win away at Ipswich, 1-0. Jacob, I hope you had a good Thanksgiving. We got a lot of Premier League games still coming this week as the festive period, the best time of the Premier League season, is upon us. Yeah, so let's go ahead and dive in here as Southampton will host Chelsea down on the South Coast. A game that always goes back and forth, has some good storylines. We saw Christian Pulisic hat trick away to Southampton, his first in Chelsea colors. Chelsea is riding a 5-game unbeaten streak in the Premier League. A great win against Aston Villa, 3-0. Nico Jackson is scoring quick and often in these games. 4 goals in the first half already in this Premier League campaign. Jadon Sancho on the left and Pedro Neto on the right started against Villa. I'm looking for them to start again against Southampton. That provides a lot more energy. Caicedo started at right back. Gusto was a substitute on the bench as Reece James was out. We'll see if Caicedo starts again at right back, and that will be very important because if he is able to push into that midfield with Lavia and Enzo is able maybe to go a little bit further up, or you just play with Neto, Palmer, and Sancho up front. That will be causing a lot of problems for Tyler Dibbling at Southampton, who has been absolutely fantastic. He only has one big chance created so far this season, but he is the epicenter to everything Southampton does. He plays the pass before the pass. And he has been absolutely fantastic. Southampton, in a close game against Liverpool, were able to score twice, all because of him. And then last week, they drew 1-1 against Brighton. Also, a big reason for that game. Southampton have been on the up and up at home, scoring in 5 consecutive games, but I can't see anything besides a Chelsea win. And the main reason why is Southampton keep wanting to play out of the back. I don't know why they keep wanting to play out of the back, but they just, no matter who's in goal, no matter who's in the back line, they're playing a back 3, they're playing a back 4. They keep wanting to play out of the back, and they keep conceding big chances. 8 goals resulted directly off of errors for Southampton this season, which is 3 more than any other Premier League team. They're going to concede the ball in dangerous positions. Chelsea will capitalize, giving all 3 points to Chelsea.
Yeah, Southampton's got to change something if they want to get out of that relegation zone. And I don't see them figuring that out against a red-hot Chelsea team. Next up, we got 5th place taking on 6th place. We got Manchester City taking on Nottingham Forest at the Etihad. City coming off
gotta hurt.
2-0 loss.
5th place. That's just, how long has it been since you said 5th place? I mean, that's just painful. It's just gotta hurt.
Yeah, it's City coming off a 2-0 loss against Liverpool. Had to say it was a deserved loss. One of the few bright spots in the match, though, was Doku on the left once he got subbed in for Nunez. I'd love to see him get the start here tomorrow. De Bruyne came on for a little bit, so hopefully he's getting close to full fitness, but we'll see. He seems to always get something to set him back after returning, so we'll see how long that lasts. Losing Rodri was very tough, but losing Kovacic and not having a CDM at all has been very, very rough. It's been a horrible spell of games, one of the worst in Pep's career. Looks like Kovacic will return by the end of December, but we need him back yesterday. I was hoping that John Stones could come in to fill that CDM role. I really think he could fit there well, but he doesn't even have an estimated return date. His injury is a little up in the air right now. It's hard to tell what's going on exactly with him. I said this last week and I'll say it again. Pep has to stop playing Rico Lewis in the center.
Yeah.
He's just too small. He's too weak. Just can't boss a Premier League midfielder. He could play maybe in a wingback position outside. Him in the center is a huge liability. Liverpool just went right through the middle, and I really hope he can play Nunez there as CDM. That will bring some size, and we'll be able to win the ball back a little bit easier. Bring Nunez in that CDM role and play Doku and Savinho out on the outside. If De Bruyne is fit, I'd love for him to get in, obviously, but he's probably going to come off the bench in this one. Nottingham Forest, after a 2-game losing streak, rebounded with a 1-0 win against Ipswich. Chris Wood was fit enough to make the start, and when he starts, he usually scores. He's got 9 goals in 13 matches, puts him only behind Holland and Salah on the season. Gibbs White only has the 1 assist and no goals this season, but he's been integral to their attack. He's been awesome for them. Nuno Espirito Santo deserves nothing but praise for what he's done with this club. City took the double over Forest last season, but obviously completely different circumstances here with Forest red hot and City as cold as they've ever been in recent years. Last time they played at the Etihad, Rodri tried to choke Morgan Gibbs White. So Gibbs White will be happy that he's not playing for more reasons than one. I am going to go City at the Etihad to finally rebound and get the win. It's going to be a tough game. I could see Forest getting a result, obviously, but I'm going with Manchester City in this one.
Yeah, Forest only 2 goals in their last 3. Definitely, I think I could see if City can get one that they can hold it out, especially if Rico Lewis is not playing in the middle, like you mentioned. He just is not able to boss that midfield like Liverpool have been able to do over the course of the season. 2-0 winners, like you mentioned, over City, but before that, 2-0 winners over Real Madrid, 4-0 winners over German champion Bayer Leverkusen. They have been on a complete roll this season, but they travel to St. James's Park, and those fans are going to be ready. We always know that Newcastle is a fortress at home, wins already in all competitions this season against the likes of Chelsea, Arsenal, draws against Spurs and Manchester City, back when City was a little bit more healthy as well. So those fans, they turn up for those big games. They're going to be ready for Liverpool. Also, a bad week for Newcastle this past week with draws and a defeat to West Ham and a draw last time out. So they're going to look to rebound. The fans actually haven't celebrated a Newcastle win at St. James's Park in over a month, which was when they beat Arsenal 1-0 at home. They're going to be ready to go. So I think this bodes well for Newcastle, but they're playing a team that doesn't care that they play at St. James's Park. They haven't lost there since 2015. A lot of close games. The best away team in the Premier League. They haven't lost at all on the road. Surprisingly, their only loss was at home to Nottingham Forest. And so they're going to look to continue their fine form on the road, where Newcastle is going to be hoping to get all of the energy from the fans. So give me a nice 2-2 draw at St. James's Park. I think this one will be fireworks. I do hope that Luis Diaz, Gakpo, and even though I'm a Nunez fan, Gakpo, Luis Diaz, and Salah are the front 3. I think that will cause Newcastle the most problems. Dan Burn back in the side last week, but we know he doesn't necessarily move that well. If you are able to interchange Gakpo and Luis Diaz with Salah going up and down, you're going to cause Newcastle problems. But I like fireworks. I like the fans to be going crazy at St. James's Park, so I like a 2-2 draw here.
I like that. St. James's Park is super hard to play at. Liverpool's got to slow down somewhere, right?
Unless you're Aguero, Aguero just seemed to figure it out. So,
yeah,
yes.
5-goal frenzy. Next up, we got Everton taking on Wolves in a game that's sure to have lots of goals. Both these teams are defensively doing very bad this season. Everton coming off a 4-0 loss against United. Branthwaite had 2 huge mistakes in the first half. We were hoping that he was going to come into this side and figure out their defensive problems. I think he's been good, but he had a dreadful match against United. It's 13 games into the season now, and we're still talking about how 39-year-old Ashley Young is starting at right back.
Amazing.
Bruno Fernandes had a meg on him in that match that made him look like a high school player. To be fair to Young, though, most of the goals came down the left in that one, but also Everton did not allow any goals after Young was subbed off. So maybe we have a point. We're running out of excuses for Everton here defensively.
Yep.
The last hope, I think, is Seamus Coleman is finally back on the bench. He's finally recovered from that injury. He just needs to get fit. He is their defense's last hope to figure it out. Sean Dyche will be out of answers if that doesn't go well. Maybe they'll sign someone in the January transfer window. Who knows? Dwight McNeil, though, has been fantastic. I can't wait to watch him in this one. I think the Wolves midfield and defense will allow him a lot of space, and he's great on the ball especially if he has space. Wolves are coming off a 4-2 loss against Bournemouth. They let up 3 penalties, all of them completely deserved. Jose Sa had earned his starting spot back from Sam Johnston, but I would not be surprised if he returns to the bench after his performance against the Cherries. Jose Sa was responsible for 2 out of the 3 penalties, just stupid mental mistakes. Both of these teams, again, have had huge defensive issues. It's going to be a great game. I've got Everton at Goodison.
Yeah, they're going to need a bounce back. Their defense has been what we've been focusing on with Ashley Young and Brent White and everybody, especially with Sean Dyche being the manager. But 10 goals so far this season is a big reason why they sit barely out of the relegation zone. They're going to need to get on the score sheet, especially against Wolves, who have let up, 32 goals this season. Definitely going to need goals there. United got all of the goals when they played Everton, like you mentioned, 4-0 winners in Ruben Amorim's first Premier League win as United manager, but now they have to travel to the Emirates to take on a red-hot Arsenal team who have scored 13 goals in their last 3 games across all competitions. 5-2 thrashing of West Ham last time out. Saw everybody across the front line get a goal. I think with Odegaard's introduction back into the team, that has been that switch that they've needed. They've allowed their back line to get healthy and to get rid of all of those suspensions that they've been having over the course of this 13 games so far. So I think United, despite the formation tweaks that Amorim has been doing, Rashford and Xerxes both getting 2 goals last time out. We'll see if they get the start. I think the big issue is going to be if he starts Casemiro. Casemiro has been a staple for him so far in his young United managerial career. And I think with that midfield, no matter who really plays in it, if you got Odegaard in there, I think Casemiro is going to have a lot of issues. Mainu has been playing, so maybe that can help out. But I think that's just going to cause too many problems for that United midfield. The exciting thing for United fans when you lose this game to Arsenal, who are going to take all 3 points comfortably, is the fact that you could get Lenny Yoro back here in the next couple of weeks, pushing maybe Mazraoui out as a wing back and giving you Martinez, De Ligt, and Lenny Yoro as a back 3. I think that could, over the next couple of years, be such a great partnership. But you will not be taking anything from this game. Give me Arsenal and all 3 points at home.
Yeah, Amorim is undefeated in his 2 Premier League games, but they played Ipswich and Everton. So this is going to be a giant jump in difficulty for this new team, new formation for Amorim. Ahmad, though, on that right wing back was great. I think he kind of figured out who he wants in that right wing back position. We were talking about whether or not that was going to be Mazraoui. He went and played more in a central role in that one.
Yeah.
Obviously, experimentation is going to happen. We'll see if he sticks with it. I think he will keep that, at least for the time being. Next up, we got Aston Villa taking on Brentford. Villa coming off a 3-0 thrashing against Chelsea. They just haven't looked the same this season without Douglas Luiz. They're just so much easier to break down and so much easier to take the ball away from. That CDM role is so important, as everyone is figuring out. As a City fan, I certainly have us losing our starting and backup CDMs. You have to think that they will be looking to fill that hole in the January transfer window. Villa have only won 1 game out of 6 after beating Bayern Munich in the Champions League. And
Doesn't make sense.
They haven't won a Premier League game in more than 2 months. They're having a horrible spell of form here. They're going to be desperate for this win at home. They rarely lose at Villa Park, but they will be desperate to be getting back to winning ways and not just take the point. Brentford are coming off a 4-1 win against Leicester City. They went down 1-0, but quickly responded with a goal from Wissa and Shada to quickly get the lead back. Shada with a hat trick. It's the first time he's scored in the Premier League this season, and it was 3 of them. It'll do wonders for his confidence, and it'll take a lot of pressure off Mbumo, who's been responsible for most of their goals this season. The Leicester defense was horrible, but fair play to Brentford for taking the chances that they were given. In my opinion, this game has draw written all over it, but I am going to go with Villa. I think it's one of those games where the form won't make sense to the result, but they're going to be so desperate for this win, and I think they're going to pull it off. I'm going Villa.
Yeah, I think at home they're definitely going to need a win. The upper part of the middle part of the table, I guess, is so close. Brighton is going to look to get ahead of that middle of the pack. Villa can jump 6 or 7 places with a win in this game. Brighton sit on 23 points and look to stay in the top four with a win away to Fulham, and I think they will get it. A disappointing game last week against Southampton. João Pedro before that was on fire. I mean, he get a goal, get an assist, get a goal, get an assist, get it in every single game. He was absolutely flying. Fulham on the flip side, Raul Jimenez, yes, they got the draw against Tottenham, but you look at some of those opportunities that he had. He hits the crossbar. He puts a couple headers, either looping to the keeper or a little bit wide. He needs to be able to put those in the back of the net. I think they've been struggling with that of late. So I think Brighton will edge this one in London and get all 3 points just slightly.
That should be a great game. I think I like Fulham a little bit more than you in this one, but I could see that match going any which way. Next up, we got Bournemouth taking on Tottenham. Bournemouth are coming off that 4-2 win against Wolves that we talked about. Justin Kluivert looking more like his dad, Patrick Kluivert, in that game, scoring the hat trick. Just clinical on every single penalty. They were without their player of the season in Semenyo due to a 5th yellow card, 1-game suspension, but that didn't matter. They did not need him to break down the Wolves defense. They'll be happy to see him back against a much stronger side in Tottenham. It's good to see Tyler Adams reestablished as a regular and born in the starting lineup after his tough injury spell. Evan Nielsen didn't get on the score sheet, but his press,
like every week. What are we doing?
His press awarded 2 penalties, though. He got fouled twice by Jose Sa. He played awesome. It doesn't matter if you score, if you're creating chances like that. Tottenham are coming off a 1-1 draw against Fulham. They could not capitalize in the last 10 minutes after Fulham went down to 10 men. Solanke showed up to Tottenham Hotspur Stadium only to get sent home by Postecoglou due to an illness. He was definitely missed. They couldn't score, especially when Fulham went down to the 10 men. Van de Ven recently posted on Instagram saying he's on the way, whatever the hell that means. Hopefully, though, it's a good sign for Tottenham. I really think they need him back. Yeah. You saw this last year. Once he got injured, they are just so much more liable to drop points. He's so important to that team defensively. Yeah. This is going to be a great game. I think it's got draw written all over it, though. I could see Tottenham getting back to winning ways, but Bournemouth at home is solid. Tottenham's so hard to predict. I'm going draw on this one.
Yeah, Bournemouth have been tough at home, so I could see a draw. Yeah, you mentioned Van de Ven. For a team that likes to push so high up and play a high line, you need somebody to be able to cover, and he is exactly that, but he keeps pulling his hamstring. So until he gets back, I think they will be struggling. So I could see a draw. I could see a Bournemouth win there as well. But that will do it from us here at Twin Football. These are all of our picks and predictions. Enjoy the football.